Welcome to the lab. This is when we'll be looking at first the components. We'll be using the charge controller, which is the brain of the whole system that we are building for the charging. While we have a USB socket that has 7 spaces on it to charge phones. Okay. Then we have the battery, which is 12.5 amps, and this is what will be placed inside the system. We have some of the screwdrivers we'll be using and some of the wires for the connection. Then we have the panel itself that will be bringing in the power, and this panel is around 35 watts. Then we have the box where we'll be placing all the components of the solar charging system. Okay, this is the beginning of everything. As I told you before, this one is going to be the center of the whole system. We call it charge controller. I welcome you to our practical class where we'll be doing how to build solar charging machine. This is the battery that will be storing the power, while this is a charge controller, which I told you about. The first thing that you insert here is the wires, because here we have the plate for the panel, we have for the battery, and we have for the outlet, which is the lights. Now, these are the inlet for wires. We have positive and negative polarity. So we do the positive first before we now insert the negative. So the positive goes to the inlet for the positive. That's what we are doing now. And you are going to screw it down. So now the light has come on, which means it has seen the battery. The battery is on now, and we can now, this is the solar panel, and at the back of it is where the charge that is received is taken through the wires to the areas where it is needed, the charge controller. This label shows the rating of the solar panel. On it, you will see it has 35 watts. So we can now continue in the installation proper of the panel to the charge controller. Now we are ready to insert it. The negative polarity goes to the negative, while the positive goes to the positive. So when we insert it, screw it down. Okay, that is done. And we now put the positive in the positive position. You can see immediately it comes into contact, it begins to blink to show us that the charge controller is now charging the battery. The battery is being charged presently as we see, and we can now begin to charge our phones, because under here is a USB port where the USB jack can enter, and this is an analog charge controller. We have to put it on so that when the light comes here, we now notice it can charge. If you notice, it has light to show that it can charge phones here. Okay, we have USBs here to charge some phones. I have 2 USB cords. We can use more than that because you have 7 spaces here. When we insert the USB, you can now add it to the phone that you want to charge. Notice it's already charging, while we also put the other USB in the second USB port. It's already charging. So we have 7 spaces here where you can charge 7 phones at the same time. This is the technology we are talking about, that business people who are doing charging business can go into, while others who want to use it at home, the family can set it at the same time and they will be charging. While this panel will be on the roof outside, supplying and catching enough the sunlight for the charging of the battery. The battery could be bigger than this also. Okay, we will be doing the building of the charge machine. We are inserting the battery inside the box where it will stay as we go on with the work. Pass the wires to this place where we will now do the connection, while the charge controller is placed on the body of the box so that we can begin to have the technology that will make it look a little bit more decent and compact for you to carry it about. That is why we are tying it down at this point. So now that we have this done, we can now have the battery connected as we did earlier to the charge controller. Remember, we had to use the polarity. We added according to the polarity. Positive goes to positive, while negative. Finally, this is what we have after inserting all the components of the charging machine into it. When we even add the solar panels, now we notice that it is charging, and also the battery is on, and the place where it gives light to the USB that powers is also on. Everything is working according to plan now. So every one of us can begin to build our own. The solar panel was connected from here at the back because the wire goes straight to the front where it is. So every one of us can begin to do what is necessary. Thank you very much. Thank you, class. I want to use this opportunity to tell you that you can use our phone numbers to make orders for any of the components we have. The one that we may even send to you for that charge controller will be the digital type. It's the same price with this analog that we use in training today. The analog is used for training, while the digital is for sales and for those who want to use it to do their business. On that digital, you can begin to see the screen clearly on the charge controller. So make your orders to us and we will send it to you and you pay on delivery. Thank you very much for joining our class.